Credit rating agency Onicra has done pioneering work in rating of small and medium enterprises. This has given a facelift to rated SMEs which find it easy to get loans from banks. The rating of SMEs has helped in improving creditworthiness besides winning the confidence of banks. SMEpost.com team caught up with Onicra's Executive Director Varun Mirchandani at his Noida's office, during which he highlighted the importance of ratings for SMEs and how it helps in boosting business.
I understand Onicra is into rating of SMEs, and I also learned that if you rate an SME, they get better facilities and also they get easier loans so that their business improves. So how do you see this rating business going on as far as SME is concerned? There seems to be a lot of roadblocks while you do rating of these SMEs. So what's your thought on this?
See, I think rating should be looked as a tool for corporate governance. It should be looked as a service that is only going to increase the businesses for SME. And what we've seen over the last 6 or 7 years, over 100,000 SMEs have been rated. More than 50,000 crores have been sanctioned to these MSMEs. And the credit flows have only increased, and it's creating more and more transparency for the banks. And we believe NPAs should come down with more and more rating culture to be created. So maybe over the next 3 to 5 years, you will see maybe more than 2 to 3 million MSMEs to be rated. And creating a financial inclusion model is where we see a credit uptake. I would look at it a little bit more different than looking at mandatory. I believe it's important to build an ecosystem around an MSME. End of the day, it should benefit the society as a whole in terms of either financial inclusion, either in terms of creating employment, and in third in terms of raising the bar for the SME. And if that is required, I think other steps should be taken to build that ecosystem around an SME. I think it's all about the reach of the SMEs. I think, as I told you earlier, the ecosystem is very important to be built, and that's what we did in the Northeast. So if I take Assam Grameen Bank, I think we have an MOU with them where we've rated maybe over 3,000 MSMEs there over the last 18 to 24 months. And I think all SMEs are very, very good. It's all about getting them an opportunity, bridging that gap, and building that financial inclusion for them is what we are looking at. And I feel that we want to go to more tier 2 and tier 3 cities, but we require the support of the government to help us to bridge this gap and look at this scheme maybe from a 5-year perspective or maybe a 10-year perspective, and maybe putting a strategy to say how do we get down to maybe 5 million SMEs, and therefore then the next person will automatically take these ratings is where the vision should be with the government, and that is where I think we're working in tandem with them. I think they have to see the larger benefit and they have to see the larger role that the SME ministry and the MSME will physically play. And I think for India to grow, or for any country, I think the MSME plays a very, very large role. I'll just give you a small intake. One rating leads to around 11 jobs. Now, if we rate 3 to 4 million MSMEs, you can imagine you will create more than 30 to 40 million jobs. And I think this is a sunrise industry, and we should take it as a sunrise industry over the next 3 to 5 years. And if India needs to grow at 7 to 8% or 9% over the next few years, I think MSME is going to be the most simple, important sector to lead, and that's where I think all of us collectively should push towards that. See, idea for you to make investments are only going to happen when things are important, available, corporate governance. These are all aspects of raising capital. So I think you give it 3 to 5 years. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, I think a lot of transparency is likely to come in. But I've seen the opposite happening. I've seen a lot of companies that have got rated and got funds cheaper. It's not been at 16-17%. So if I look at a lot of MOUs that we have with large banks, if a good SME is coming forward, they're actually giving them 0.5 to maybe 1% cheaper on the interest rate. So I want to push this strategy. So therefore the cost of borrowing becomes better for these MSMEs, and therefore they can add that extra value if they get rated. I think government has fantastic schemes. I think they're doing fantastically well on the ground. But I think today we need to have a convergent story in this. A lot of schemes can be converged into one. So if ratings have been given, can Mudra be linked? Can Mudra be given at a percentage cheaper to the SMEs? Maybe if there's a technology scheme to be given to the MSME sector, can be linked. If it's raw material assistance schemes can be given. So I think the time has come to converge these schemes together and bridge one, which are absolutely doing great in a silo perspective, but I think jointly can be done along with other schemes. I think that will help to upgrade and take MSMEs to the next level. The idea should be the money should reach the last mile. I think that should be the objective. And I think this is where I think the government is working along with a lot of rating agencies, that how do we build more and more reach. So if we've got down ratings towards Northeast now and in South at the moment, and the ability should be, we should look at ratings maybe thousands of MSMEs on a monthly basis rather than hundreds. And I think that will help us to even create more credit flows and credit uptakes to happen. I think most of the growth is coming in tier 2 and 3 cities is the way we see it at the moment. And if you look at the market size, maybe talking about 30 million MSMEs, 10% being active, maybe 3 million. So I think we are still only scratching the surface of maybe less than 1% of total market to be rated. So I think we have a long way along with a lot of other rating agencies. And I think it's a collective effort which we all need to make along with the government and the rating agencies to propagate this scheme, maybe even to get down to 1 million, 2 million, as I said earlier, in the next 2 to 3 years. That will create a rating culture. So that is where I think we want to move forward towards.
One last question. Is UAM working? Is UAM beneficial for ensuring that more and more SMEs get into this rating?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that is where the mindset should be. And I think we've done the dirty work of taking it to this level. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, I think you will see a huge spur in the rating industry, because if India has to grow, we need to have our own strong rating fundamentals, and especially at the bottom of the pyramid, which is not there at the area at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.